For over 40 years, Mike Sheehan has pedalled and walked with the post anything up to 30 miles a day around this area of Goleen in West Cork. In all that time, he's hardly ever been outside the district, but his friends calculate he has worn out a total of 22 bikes, 96 pairs of tyres, 240 pairs of brake pads, and that at a conservative minimum he has cycled the equivalent of 10 times around the equator, just doing his job, day after day.
It's hard to believe that 40 years ago, Mike Sheehan would have rode a bike just like this one, 30 miles a day, delivering letters all over this area. Well, we've come back 4 decades later to Goleen to find out what people remember of Mike and if the postmen here are still as dedicated. Goleen is a small village in West Cork, not too far from Mizenhead, and the locals here still remember Mike with great fondness, especially one of his sons, Brendan Sheehan.
He used to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning for he was, well, what you would call a small farmer. There are small farmers in this area, and he had to do his bit of milking and feed the calves, and everyone had a couple of pigs at a time, and sows you'd have to make a few bob somewhere. His wages weren't very much in the post, as you can imagine, so.
When you watch back the old footage of him and you see the lovely footage from the 1970s, how does it make you feel when you see it?
Oh, sure. He, of course, I was proud of my dad, of course. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He was a good man, yeah. He was one of the old stock, strictly honest and hard-working, yeah.
Goleen Post Office is still there today and now has 2 postmen, and one of them is a third cousin of Mike's, John Paul. Do you enjoy it, John Paul?
I do, yeah. I love it, actually. You're going around every day, seeing the people, and it's a nice job.
And if someone did tell you, listen, you can't use the van anymore, cutbacks,
yeah,
it's all the rage at the moment, you're going to have to go back to the bike like your third cousin Mike did back in the 70s.
I suppose if we were all on the bike, it was to be alright, but, to be hard work to go back to the bike anyway, so, I say I'll stick to the van anyway.
So, John Paul is wisely sticking to his van to deliver his mail. And back in the post office, the postmistress, Breda Buckley, feels that although, yes, times have changed, having a local postman is still just as important.
Even today, the postman is just as important. A lot of people don't drive in this area. Our nearest big town is 25 miles away, which is Bantry, and 30 miles to Skibbereen. That's long distance if you don't drive. So they can ring up here the post office or ring the shop next door and say, if the postman is coming to my house today, would he mind bringing me milk and bread? They're only basic things. People in urban...
Would they still do that today?
They would still do that today. And people in urban areas don't realise. They might ring the butcher, can I have my meat? Would the postman mind bringing up my meat? That still happens.
Over the years, he's only been sick once and had only one minor accident.
I'm sitting here in the local cafe with Mary, and just before we started recording, Mary tried to disguise the fact that she's actually having a hot chocolate this early in the morning, but you're caught.
Shock horror.
Shock horror. Mary, what do you remember of Mike?
I remember that he was a lovely, gently spoken man, and everybody loved to see him coming, because in those days when you got a letter, it was either from England or America, so it was friends or family, and it was always kind of nice news. There was no junk mail, not as many bills, I don't think, and well, he came rain or shine. He was quiet and gently spoken, but he'd always have time for a chat and a talk to particularly older people, I think. It was their connection with the outside world.
Just outside the village, we paid a visit to another one of Mike's sons, Vincent Sheehan. And you must have been a very proud young lad, because everyone in the community would have known and liked your dad as well.
Oh God, yes. Oh, he was well liked, man. He had the whole world travelled. He had the whole world travelled. It used to be very late at night when Christmas Eve, he'd come home till about 10 o'clock. But he used to be well known with the drink.
Oh, really? He'd have a few drinks, because I suppose with Christmas people would be saying, you can't leave now without us giving you a drink.
Yeah. He'd come here, poor man, he'd be able to bring in half the stuff they had over, until I'd go to help him. But
he'd be falling off the bike.
Oh, that's the thing, he's falling.
He'd be steaming.
He'd be walking, so he'd walk over the road.
And are you proud when you see him on his bike in the video footage?
Of course, yeah. Yeah, sees him then. So we had to keep going, mate. We had to keep going, we had to.
Were you ever not able to deliver the mail?
No, I do it all the time. That many years.
Rain or snow?
Rain and snow.
Well, it's been great meeting all the people and hearing about their memories of Mike Sheehan here in Goleen today, but for just now, I'm in a rush. I've got to get back to Dublin.